Hello, my name is Emily. I have an Etsy store called Yesterday's Stash, and today I'm here to talk to you and to show you the latest journal that I've put together. And this is part of my Hopeful 2021 series. In fact, this is book 10, and it is called The Old Home Place. And it has basically three different sort of aspects. First of all, I used a lot of different textures. As I said, my store is called Yesterday's Stash, which means that I have gained access to, or inherited, if you will, from my great aunt's estate sale. And we were able to bring home quite a bit of kind of hand sewing papers. It was a lot of women lived in the old home place towards the end, and so they just had bureau drawers full of different types of lace. And so over the years, I have had that, and I have added to it through going to my thrift store. So 90+% of this book is thrift store buys. Here's is a 3-inch spine, and it has like a kind of a wallpaper, but it has a raised edge to it. So the book has sort of a rounded effect, which makes it easy to be able to fold it or to open it, so that it has a, it can be opened flat. It has lots of journaling pages in it, and it has 4 signatures. Is it 4? Yeah, 4 signatures. 46 pages times 2 makes 92. And I've used just a wealth of different textures from the thrift store buy. This starts just on the front page here, or the front of the book. I have used upholstery fabric, which I liked because it has the browns and the creams and the 2 different shades of green. And this particular set of flowers I got from a company called Wish. And what Wish does is they charge an exorbitant tax and shipping fees. But if you have a store in your town where you can have the items shipped, then it really cuts down on the cost of the shipping. And so that's where I've gotten some of these. I'm kind of particular about what I order from them. So in addition to the lace, right here I have a doily, and then I used this trim here to provide leaves, and then I stuck the flowers in there at random. So you've got the wallpaper, you've got the upholstery fabric, you've got the flowers, you've got the trim, you've got the lace, you've got all kinds of textures already before you even open the book. Something that I might buy new would be something like this little file slip, and then this is a Tim Holtz clasp that can be used. So as I go through the book, I will be showing you a couple of different things, pictures or images of something that you might find at an old home place, or an old farmhouse, or at an older home or estate, or whatever. And then this is a Hopeful 2021 series, so I have included about 20 attached hopeful sentiments, and about 20 some unattached. So the book could actually be made a lot thinner and easier to clasp if you pulled out some of the tags, and if you wanted to, or you can add your own goodies to it. So here we go with the first of 4 first signature here. And here's an example of this. I used for the book, I used Etsy sellers digital kits, and this is one of them. And I also used, I have been able to find a lot of different paper. I've been able to use a translucent vellum, sort of resume color quality sort of paper. I've used a clear transparency acrylic or thin clear sheets of acrylic. I've used Etsy sellers digital kits, and then throughout, you know, whatever laces I have are laces that I have bought at the thrift store. So you go in the thrift store and you pick out whatever you think might work in your books. And so that's what this is. So at the very beginning is an example of an old sifter that might have been used in time gone by before it was modernized into what we use today. And then this is an example of two-sided hopeful statements. Today is a new day. Rather than worrying about what's ahead, why not be renewed by a beautiful beginning? So that's just an example of the kinds of hopeful statements that are in here. And then here's an example of an old rocking horse, and an old globe. And then this is an example of the vellum that I used. I was able to add, you can see that it's sort of translucent, so I was able to add a statement, a hopeful statement in here with that one. And these are examples of, this is an example of a either stationery or resume quality paper. You go to the thrift store and you never know what you're going to find. And so I paper clipped a couple of sentiments in here. I used a lot of fabric strips or strips from the digital kits. This particular page is an example of where I took I found this set of envelopes, just a huge big stack. There's more, but this is an example, and this is what it looked like. It was long, and it has an, you know, you fold it down there. And then what I did was I sewed the two pages together, closed the lid or the top, and then turned it into a page and cut off the edges here and added a little a half moon, sort of so that you can use the pages for a dairy farmer's sign or an old Mother Hubbard book. And then what I did with the pages, and you can do a variety of things, but what I did was I added music paper to the end to make it look like this. So these are some, well, I'm not quite sure what they were used for, but they were in the library cards. And it says here, course, cartridge number, text, track 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it must be a way to store, maybe at the time, some sort of VHS, and they had different tracks to them, but it would be a method of library storage. So it was a big stack in there, and I threw some of those in there. Another example of the vellum. What I used here for the inside are some flowers that I punched out using the trim from some of the Etsy sellers papers. Here's another example of using the other side of the book, and have a bingo card and a tag that I stuck in there. Buttons. We found a lot of buttons at the old home place when we were cleaning it out. And so we have quite a few of those. This is a picture of an old radio. And I've added a paper clip to that. These are this is the transparent acrylic transparency sheet that I added some lace to and put in some positive statements or hopeful statements. This is a piece of stationery, an old barn, a piece of, this is a card that you can pull out and use. It says Dream on the outside. And then in the old barn, I don't know if you ever went and played on a farm, and it was so much fun to climb in the old barn and take the ladder and climb up to the top floor and in the loft area, just back in the day. Anyway, this doll, an old doll collection that I've stuck in here with this big butterfly. This is another example of how I used the same envelope, but I instead used pattern paper. And then this is actually glassine that I actually took and did a little coffee stain on and cut out envelope patterns and made a bunch of envelopes to go, you know, for little tags and things to slip in. Again, more of the vellum. Paper for writing. This is the center of the first signature. This is a belly band that I put again, some more glassine with a little card or tag on the inside. And then this right here is from one of my digital kits called Memorable Images from Time Gone By that I sell in my Etsy store. That particular bicycle is in there. And this is a set of envelopes that I found, I think I found this on Wish, or yeah, I believe I did find it on Wish. This is an old typewriter tag that can go in here. So it's just a lot of fun to make. This is a set of scales from back in the day. Another example of a bicycle. I was able to find quite a bit of glossy photo paper, and if you change your printer setting to glossy, then then it prints out really, really nicely on a glossy, you know, photo setting. This is a statement on clear transparency. Some more. This is a picture of an old schoolhouse, and used a gold sort of a trim around the edge. This particular is where I found a bunch of scrap yarn or scrap fiber, and I kind of just put it in here, and then you can use a, Heat and Bond has a clear plastic or clear covering that you can press on, and that's how I put it on this. Put a stamp on that to give it a little more character. The other side of the pattern paper. This is an old washing machine used in time gone by. And this is Deborah Marchant. She has beautiful art. She's got art. Her art is centered around staying at home and being comfortable and reading. And this is one of her images. And it went on the back of I guess I put it on the back of a card that you would buy fruit at the fruit stand. So you put that in here. Another old doll, set of dolls, Coffee and Roses. Just tried to add a lot of trim, insert different sizes of quotes. When I look at this, the first thing I think of is a honey jar, but there was a lot of things that they stole and that they stored in those big urns and jars and jugs, if you will. This is an old coffee grinder, and this is an old cash register. old Cologne, old ledger I actually found in a set of books. Going through that, there's an old ledger that my great aunt, when she was the last survivor in the old home place, and she had written, I think it was in the 60s, that she had written what money came out of her personal checking account for the running of the estate, and it had things like, you know, light bulbs and gas for the lawnmower and so forth and so on. So just delightful memories from the old home place, growing up as a child. This is actually an opening, and I have two, this is some library cards. This is a picture of an old typewriter, and then I have more, this is an advertisement, old ball jars here, and this particular one is potpourri, dried plants. This is handmade paper, and you can see that it's got a hole in it. It's actually, what I did was is just put a little card inside, because I don't know how much you could write on the handmade paper, but this is a just a really cute stationery that you could use. You could pull that out and use it. Wildflowers, more of our cards. And I didn't want to, you know, like for instance right here, this whole page has got pictures of old jugs that you might find on a back porch of an old farmhouse, or in one of the barns of the old farmhouse. And so that's why I use the clear transparency for pockets, because you can still see the images. Here's a sundial, more paper for journaling on. Another quote from Winston Churchill. This is opens up. It's on a craft paper. This is a picture of several different items that you would use in an old kitchen. And this is one of my favorite images. All of these images come from the public domain. You could find this on Upsplash or various ones, but this is old pitchers, PITCH pitchers for lemonade or for milking or for whatever. And then on the inside are some old glass jars. It's just looking from a window inside a room that has items in it from time gone by. So this is an actual dry sink, and I actually have the dry sink chest that came from my great aunt's bedroom. And what they did, of course, is they had it, you know, waist high. They would go and get their warm water and would fill it into the bowl and wash their face and take their hands and face in the mornings. This was pre-restroom, bathroom, indoor plumbing, kinds of things. So just a great deal of fun to make these. This is an old set of old bookcases that remind me of the bookcases in the old home place. Lace, trims, buttons, old silverware, old flatware. And this is an old set of keys, old keys, picture, doilies. So the book is just jammed with items from the old home place, or what you might, if you ever played at an old barn or farmhouse as a child, you might remember seeing some of these things. And then the Hopeful series, and lots of texture. So thank you for watching. This book will be for sale in my Etsy store, Yesterday's Stash, all one word, lowercase. And it's going to be called, I guess, The Old Home Place, or The Old, or Time Gone By, or it's going to be Hopeful Series, Book 10. And thank you for watching, and we'll talk again soon.